Welcome back, class. As you know that we already completed our first unit, which is the electrostatic part. So in that part we have discussed about the behavior of the charge when the charge is static. That means when the charge is at rest, then what are the behaviors we have discussed. So in that chapter we have discussed about the quantization of charge, Coulombian force, electric field concept, and the Gauss law and the application of the Gauss law, electrostatic potential energy when for a point charge and for the system of the charges, and then we have discussed about the capacitor and the dielectrics. So in the capacitor and the dielectric chapter we have discussed a variety of numerical, but one type of variety is still left, because that in that variety we have to use a concept of the Wheatstone bridge, which is the part of another unit, next unit, which is the current electricity. So after completion of the topic Wheatstone bridge, I will revise again one type of numerical, which is the part of the capacitor and the dielectric, right now. So one time I will also revise the capacitor and the dielectric for taking that reference of that concept of the Wheatstone bridge. So no need to worry about that. So today we are going to start the new chapter and also the new unit, which is the chapter 3, current and electricity. So in the current electricity, basically the part of the electrodynamics. What is the electrodynamics? In the electrodynamics, you know that now this time the electron will be in the motion. That means the charge will be in the motion, while in the electrostatic the charge is at rest. This time the charge will be moving, and the motion of the charges we are accepting this time, it is moving with the uniform velocity, right now, uniform velocity. So a quick recap overview of this current electricity chapter. So in current electricity chapter already we have studied about the electric current in class 10th. So in this chapter also we have to start from the electric current, and then another concept of the current density, right now, current density. We will discuss about this part, current density, which is the new thing. So we will discuss this term first time, because in the class 10 only we have discussed about the electric current, but this time we have to also discuss about the current density. And also very important question asked in a number of times in the board examination, the difference between the electric current and the current density. So also that will be discussed in this lecture. After that we will discuss about the concept of the electronic model for the conduction, or the what is the how the movement of the electron in the conduction time. So for that we will have some parameter like mean free path, relaxation time, and the drift velocity. So this type of parameter we will discuss, and on the basis of these terms we will derive the Ohm's law. In class 10th you discuss the Ohm's law directly. We have already discussed V is directly proportional to I, and where we will find V is equal to I into R. So that relation was basically the activity based relation in class 10th. We have only taken a simple circuitry, and with the help of activity we just found this relation. But here this proportionality constant, which is the R, we will derive here with the help of this electronic conduction method, right now, where with the help of drift velocity, we will derive the Ohm's law. And also we will discuss about the limitations of the Ohm's law, when the Ohm's law will be not applicable. And in class 10 you study only what is the temperature effect for the conductor, especially for the metal case. But here not only for the conductor, also for the semiconductor you will discuss what is the effect of the temperature, right now. And because of the temperature dependency, how the specific resistance or the resistivity will change for the conductor and the semiconductor both. And after that we will discuss in this chapter some measurement regarding with the help of Wheatstone bridge, with the help of potentiometer we will discuss how we can find the EMF of a cell. So here also we will differentiate what is the difference between the EMF and the terminal voltage, right now. So in this chapter this is a very important topics, and also very interesting and very important topic in this unit, which is the Kirchhoff's voltage law and Kirchhoff's current law. It is commonly known as the Kirchhoff's law. Kirchhoff's Kirchhoff's law has two parts. One part is called KCL, which is Kirchhoff's current law, and second one is KVL, which is called the Kirchhoff's voltage law. Right now, so Kirchhoff's law is basically the combination of the two laws. First law is called the Kirchhoff's current law, which will be derived by the law of conservation of charge, and the KVL, which is called the Kirchhoff's voltage law, and basically it is supported by the law of conservation of energy. So with the help of these two laws, we have the variety of numericals are there, and every year there is a one numerical coming on this topic, Kirchhoff's law, and we will discuss a very interesting method. One method which is given in your book, and second method we will discuss, which is the common method, which is applicable for the all type of circuits. So whether you have the one cell circuit or the two cell circuit or n number of cells are connected in your circuit, you can easily find whatever it is asked, the R net of the circuit or the any potential difference across the resistors. So with the help of that method you can find this one. So this is very interesting and the important topic, not only for the board examination, also for the competition section. So this is a very important topic. So, and also few class 10th topics are also included in this one, in this unit, which is the power and the heat production in a particular resistor. So you can simply find the how much heat is produced by a load, and what is the power delivered by the cell, or what is the power consumed by a particular load. So this is also class 10 topics. It is similar, only some advancement of the numerical in this chapter you will see. The rest of the theory is same, which is already discussed in the class 10th. But again, I will revise that topic here also. So this is a kind of overview of this unit, right? Current electricity or the electrodynamics. So let us start with the first topic, which is the electric current and the current density, and what is the difference between the electric current and the current density, right? So let us start. So electric current, you know that electric current is defined as the rate of flow of charge, in a circuit with respect to time, is called electric current. Right now, so whenever you connect a circuit and with the supplies, then there is a movement of the charges from negative terminal to positive terminal, and because of this circulation at a particular section, a certain amount of the charge will flow in a unit in a certain time. So when you take this ratio or the rate of the flow of this charge, that is called the electric current. So suppose in T time, if the Q amount of the charge is flowing in any cross section of a circuit, then you will say the current I is equals to Q by T. Right? I is equal to Q by T. Here you will see that the electric is simple, the mathematical representation of this statement. Simple, it is the rate of flow of charge. It is I is equal to Q by T. Right now? And that means in T time, the Q amount of the charge is circulating at any section of circuit, right now, which is called the electric current. And you know that the charge is represented in the coulomb, right now, charge is represented in the coulomb in the electric system, and time represented in the second, okay, coulomb per second, and which is the derived rate, and simple, it is also known as the 1 ampere. So 1 ampere is equal to 1 coulomb per second. Coulomb per second. Right now, coulomb per second is called to 1 ampere. The relation, we just derived the definition of the 1 ampere. So already you have discussed this thing in the class 10. But one thing which is not discussed in the class 10 is current is a scalar quantity. right now. Current is a scalar quantity, not vector quantity. But few students will say, so suppose we have a simple circuit. We have a simple circuit, and this is the resistance, this is the V voltage, this is the positive terminal of the cell, this is the negative terminal of the cell. So you are representing the arrow here, arrow, right now. This is the arrow. What the arrow signifies here? So arrow signifies the direction of the current. So what is the vector quantity? Vector quantity have the magnitude and the direction. You are indicating the direction. So the current is a vector quantity. Then why you are saying, sir, current is a scalar quantity? See here, this direction is only the direction of the movement of the positive charge. That's it. That means it is only the indication the positive charge is moving from this side to this side. It is not the vector representation, right now. It is not a vector representation. That means you are not saying from this wire, you are not saying the electron or the positive charge is moving from north direction or the south direction or the east direction. You are not saying like that. Simply you are representing this arrow. That means the positive charge is moving from this side to this side. From this wire, this side to this side. From this wire, this side to this side. So here, the arrow only signifies basically the indication in a particular wire. Suppose this is a wire. So whether the positive charge is moving from this side to this side or this side to this side, right now. So only it is a simple indication. It is not a vector representation. If we are representing this direction for a vector quantity, so we have to write the positive charge is moving from this side to this side in north direction or the east direction, right now. Generally we are writing the vector quantity like this one, but here we are not writing like this one, only indicating this arrow sign. So arrow sign is here only for the indication of the movement of the positive charge, right now. Also clarify, this is the positive terminal of the cell, this is the negative terminal of the cell, and the positive charge is moving from positive plate of the cell to the negative plate of the cell, and basically it is called the conventional movement of the current. Actually the electron is moving, the positive charge is not moving. The electron moving from negative terminal to positive terminal, right now, which is called the electronic current. But for because electron has a negative charge, to overcome that negative charge, there is a common conventional assumption. We are taking the positive opposite direction of the movement of the current. By taking this one, we are already eliminating the negative behavior of the electron, right now. So for the simplification of our calculation, it is quite simple assumption to take the current direction always in the opposite direction of the movement of the electron. So don't be confused. The positive charge is not moving from the positive plate to negative plate. The electron is moving from the negative plate to positive plate. So there is a simple assumption to simplify our calculation, to overcome the negative behavior of the electron. You know the electron has the negative charge. So to remove that minus in our calculation, there is a proper assumption. By taking this one, already our negative is compensated in the calculation, right now. So don't be confused. So here simple, the electric current, this arrow sign is indicating the direction of the movement of the positive charge. So what is current? Current is a scalar quantity. Current is a scalar quantity. Right? Scalar quantity. Current is a scalar. Scalar quantity, that means to define the scalar quantity, we need only magnitude. That means we are simply saying in this circuit the 2 ampere current is flowing or the 3 ampere current is flowing. Right now, we will not say 2 ampere current is flowing in the north direction. We will not say like this one. Right now, so simple, current is a scalar quantity because to explain the current, only the magnitude is required, direction is not required. So only the arrow sign is only for the indication. Right now, so this is your electric current. So the next is current density. So current density you are studying the first time. In class 10, there is no term for the current density. This year you are going to understand the term current density. Right now? So current density right now. So here current density, suppose there is a conductor, and which is connected by a particular voltage source V, and because of this supply, there is a current is circulating in this direction. In this direction, the current is circulating from positive to negative side, and also the current will flow in this direction. So, what is the current density? The current density is flow of current per unit area, right now. So current density is current flowing per unit area. Current flowing per unit area means if you are taking the particular cross section here, right now, taking the section here, in that section you have to define what is the movement of the current. Current is moving this side, right now, this side. So at this particular area of cross section, you will see in which direction the positive charge is moving, because the positive charge movement is basically the direction of the current, right now. So the flow of current per unit area is called the current density, and mathematically you can write the symbol represented by the current density is J, and J is represented by I by A. So current flowing per unit area, right now, simple. Current density is current flowing per unit area. So at any section, if you are going to find what is the current density, simple you have to find on that area what is the amount of current is flowing, and simple divided by the area of that section. Simple, you will put this value, you will find the current density of that conductor. And second thing, current density is a scalar or vector. So if you see here, J is what? I by A. I is a scalar quantity. You will say area is a scalar quantity. Few students will say no sir, area is a vector quantity. In Gauss law we have already discussed the area is vector quantity. See, area is a scalar or vector quantity. It's only depends upon our conveniency. Conveniency means, suppose in class, in the mathematics, you are not representing the area is a vector quantity, because only the magnitude is enough to express the area. The quantity, the physical significance of the area is simple. What is the area of this one? This cylinder. So simple, this cylinder area is suppose x meter square. So the x meter square is to enough how much material is required to build this particular structure. So that is enough. Rest other parameter is not required. So that is why we are considering area is a scalar quantity in mathematics. But in the Gauss law, we have discussed the area is a vector quantity, because in the Gauss law, not only the structure's material is required, how much material is required to build a particular structure, also the faces of the structure is important. For example, this particular cylinder you can see here, this particular is a particular flat surface, this side, the face, this side, there is a curved face is also there, this is also face is there, to this side, three faces are there, one face, two face, and this third face, right now. So here, not only the structure material required to build this structure, also the faces of the structure is also important, because if you are illuminating a torch, focusing a torch on this particular structure, so it is not necessary the same amount of the intensity of light falling on this structure, or this structure also. If you are illuminating the light this side, so this structure receiving the zero light, right now, or the negligible amount of the energy, but this face will receive the maximum amount of the energy. So if you see how much energy is falling on this particular area, so this time the faces has the role. This phase have some different characteristic. The more energy receiving on this particular phase, this is the least one, and this one is the negligible. Right now, so in the Gauss law, we are assuming area is a vector quantity because the faces are important. So that is why to differentiate the faces, we are assuming the area is a vector quantity. Right now, but here the current density is also a vector quantity. Current density is also a vector quantity. So you will say, because area is a vector quantity, so area is a vector quantity and current is a scalar quantity, so scalar upon vector, you will say it is a vector. The answer is no, because if you are considering area is a vector quantity, that is why the current density is the vector quantity. So you will, that means the direction of the area vector and the direction of the what? The current density should be in the same direction. Because you are considering area is a vector quantity, so scalar upon vector, the direction of the vector quantity should be what? The direction of the current density. And what is the direction of the area vector? Always normal to the surface. Normal to the surface. But we will take the any type of the conductor, structure of the conductor. So the area vector and the current density vector not in the same direction. Right now? So here the current density is a vector quantity not because of the area is a vector quantity. Because the direction, the current density direction is not in the direction of the area vector. Don't be confused. Right now? So what is the direction of the current density? So the current density direction is always to that particular area, the direction of the movement of the positive charge. Right now? That means if you are considering this particular area, so in that particular area, in which direction the positive charge is moving. So the direction of the movement of the positive charge will decide the direction of this current density. Right now? So the current density direction is the direction in the direction of the movement of the positive charge. Yeah, in other words, in the direction of the current. Right now? But it is a microscopic view. In a particular area, a number of in other words, a number of positive charges are moving this side. So maybe the direction of the positive charges are different, right? Because we are dealing the microscopic view. So in this microscopic view, it is if your aim is to find what is the particular direction of the current density, if you are taking this particular point, in this particular point, the positive charge will move in a certain direction, right? So in this particular direction, what is the direction of the movement? That is the direction of this current density. So what is the direction of the current density? Current density is in the direction of the movement of the positive charge. That's it, right? Not in the direction of the area vector. If you take the uniform cylindrical type structure, then it is same, but not for the any case. If you take the irregular shape of any particular conductor, then that will be changed, because the area vector always in the normally outward or at the normal of the surface, but not the movement of. We cannot say that the normal to the surface. It is not compulsory, right now. So you cannot say. So the current density is a vector quantity, and the direction of the current density is in the direction of the movement of the positive charge, right now. So I hope you understand. The electric current is a scalar quantity, and the current density is a vector quantity. Electric current is a scalar because it is the overall property of a conductor. Overall property of a conductor. That means if you connect a power source to this particular conductor, so the overall this conductor behavior, or in other words, the overall resistance will decide what is the amount of current will flow. What is the amount of current will flow? So electric current is, and if you bend this conductor, so that will not affect the magnitude of the current. So it is also the current. If it is a vector quantity, so if you bend the conductor, so that value should be changed, because you studied if it is a bending to a particular angle theta, then a particular direction you will get the cos theta and the sin theta. Right now, so it will not obey the vector property also. So electric current is a scalar quantity because it is the behavior of the overall conductor, and current density is a vector quantity because it is a property of a point inside the conductor. Right now, and in that particular point, in which direction the positive charge is moving, in that direction the direction of the current density. Right now, it's a microscopic view. So current density is basically the microscopic view, and the electric current is the microscopic, the overall behavior of this conductor. Right now. So I hope you understand this concept. If you have any doubt, you should mention in the comment section.